If I was to say the Karbala experience to you, what does that mean?
My first experience and my first analogy of it as someone who was just 18 years old was, this is Sirat al-Mustaqim.
MashaAllah. Going back to Karbala, flipping out about this. You know when you just mention it and you think about your stories of the ziyarah.
Goosebumps.
So
Mentally, you're there, right?
you're there,
speaking here,
and
but
you're like, what am I doing here? I need to go.
Speaking on miracles,
Here we go.
everyone's got some miracle that they've seen. I'm just gonna mention one, yeah.
There's times we had to give a limb to go visit and do the ziyarah of Imam Hussein.
It's good you mentioned that because it's not just a vibe. It's
Yeah.
more than that. Yeah, I think 79 or 80. There was only 6 people that left from Najaf to Karbala, and they were being hunted by Saddam's people.
Oh.
There was that attack that happened so many years ago. You're like, yeah, I'm not going back there. Karbala
way.
attack happens, alright, cool, I'm coming back.
Next day.
I'm coming back.
Assalamu alaikum and welcome to the Shia Vibes podcast, discussing subjects, topics and themes in regards to our community. I'm your host, Mohsin Shah, and I'm joined by my two co-hosts, as always, Mr. Hussein Sukhni and also Mr. Bollywood, Saif Ali Khan. Assalamu alaikum, lads.
Alaikum assalam.
Yeah,
Was that shots fired or was that?
What do you
Was
mean?
that
I
a
would
shout
love
out?
to be called Mr. Bollywood. But yeah, I'm not. How are we?
Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah,
good.
man. Good to be back.
Just got called Mr. Bollywood, so I'm
okay,
blessed.
it's okay.
You look at, you got the
Oh, you're
hair.
actually embracing it.
Yeah, man.
I'm embracing it.
You're
I'm embracing it. You have to.
Mashallah. Mashallah. Now, boys, topic for this evening is the Karbala experience. Now, Karbala means something to everyone and something different to everyone also. So what I'd like to kick off with your permission, obviously, is if I was to say the Karbala experience to you, what does that mean?
I think you should go to take it from here. for now.
Honestly, I could monologue the rest of this show.
That's the
because,
thing.
you know, I'm actually just gonna just tap into it because I'm sure I've got so much to say as the show goes on. But I'm just gonna start with 2013, which was my first time going to Karbala, and my only experience of Karbala previous to that was a painting in our Husseiniyah, or my brother and my dad's experience, who actually visited the shrine of Imam Hussein alayhi salam under the time of Saddam. And Karbala was like this island, this place that you want to go and you want to be connected to this Imam Hussein that you constantly speak about. And when I went, the first time I went, I was blessed not only to just go, but to do the walk towards Imam Hussein. So the anticipation over that 3 days was like no feeling
Hold
I've
on,
ever
your
felt in my
first
life.
time to visit the shrine of Imam Hussein was arbaeen Mashaya.
That's
Yeah.
incredible.
Whoa,
That's incredible.
Mental,
that is
absolutely
mad.
mental. And it wasn't
That
even
is
an easy walk.
heavy,
Not that any of the
heavy.
walks are easy, by the way, but it was freezing.
It was
Like,
winter.
yeah,
At that
jackets,
time. It was winter,
scarves.
yeah.
What did March?
No, it was
No,
freezing,
it was
bro.
December. It must, I think
December?
it must have been December,
'Cause
yeah.
It was,
I
it was
went-
the cold that would hit the bone, like
Yeah,
inside the bone,
honestly.
no matter what you wear.
And you know, there's always that guy who has to leave the mokib and leave the door open.
Yeah.
Flashbacks. But in all of this, it was the thing of we're walking to the shrine. And my first experience and my first analogy of it as someone who was just 18 years old was, this is Sirat al-Mustaqim. Has there been anything in my life that has been this direct? I have never been in such a position in my life where there's no distraction. Nothing, absolutely nothing matters apart from my left foot going in front of my right foot to get to this destination. And that destination was a love. That destination was, I don't want to say a qibla, but it really was a place to reach, and nothing else mattered in the world. Absolutely nothing.
So when I say Karbala experience, for you, it relates to Mashaya, it relates to your first time ziyarah.
That's just a part of it. Like I said, there's so much to
It becomes home
Honestly,
after a while.
Exactly, but there's just so much to unpack when you ask about the Karbala experience, because as we're talking, like 1,000,001 stories are coming into my head. And
Let's give Sukhni a chance.
Let him go for it, man.
So Sukhni,
You're
Safe.
not going to give me a chance. You're going to give me the whole show when you talk about this topic. Let me
you're the
try.
resident. You're
let
the
me try.
resident Karbala. Yeah. Even though I believe Karbala is home to all the Shia.
Let's agree to disagree.
Oh my God.
Okay.
agree to
But
disagree.
first of all,
Yeah.
when someone says the Karbala experience, what does that mean to you?
I see it from a lot of different angles. I see it as a Shi'i, and I see it as someone who's inherited, I don't say a part of the land, but I'd say a history in that land.
Yeah.
You know, my parents are both from there. My grandparents are all from there, going back years and generations. So when someone tells me Karbala, it's not just it feels like home. It actually is home. I feel more Karbala'i than I do feel British. So imagine that linked with that whole Husseini arbaeen experience that we all go through, and link that with the place actually being your home. So when I walk Mashaya, I feel like, you know, I'm going home as well. That's how it feels for me. It's a blessing, alhamdulillah, shukr. And it's a blessing that I'll be selfish about, I'll be honest with you. That's why when you say everyone, I'm like, maybe not everyone's home, but everyone is welcome to Karbala, regardless. You're all welcome. This is not my place to decide. It's not my place, not my dad's place.
That's important.
It's the place owned by Imam Hussein, alayhi salam.
Ahsan.
He owns the land, he dictates. We are just servants in that land. We've occupied that land to serve the Zuwar. I've always believed this, by the way. Yeah, literally, bashak. If you want to live in Karbala, you have to serve the city of Karbala. That's my number one rule.
But that's what you see a lot of, though, isn't it?
You see it, but at the same time, you see a lot of people, distant relatives of mine, they'll be like, they live down the road. Not even like Baghdad, or they live in Karbala, down the road. Yeah, I haven't been ziyarah in 6 years, 7 years.
What?
Like, are you okay in the head? We've traveled the world. We've sold everything. I've quit jobs for this. I've actually quit jobs. I've missed uni. My mum might hear this. I've missed uni exams to fly out to go ziyarah. And these guys have been there and they don't appreciate the land that is Karbala. I think that's why in some narrations say it's makruh to stay too long in Karbala, because you get used to it, I think.
For me, the Karbala experience is in between revisiting / reviving Ashura.
Don't say that. I'll book right now.
And also understanding the rituals which have been passed down from generation to generation of the Karbala'i community to uphold the Husseini banner.
Shout out to the Karbala community in London. Rasulullah
Big up Rasulullah A'zam.
Shout out. Yeah.
Like me being a Pakistani, I've always been welcomed at Rasulullah A'zam. But the thing is, when I want to remember Karbala, I go to Rasulullah A'zam. If I want to feel that Hussein, the Imam Hussein, when you go in Karbala and you can that Karbala'i hawa, the air in Karbala, it's at Rasulullah A'zam. You will feel it. Honestly, it takes you way back. It'll take you straight there. You know, and that's why I like to go there, and I'm very, very close with that community. But yeah, for me, the Karbala experience for me is you going to the shrines, listening to the Nasiba, crying your eyes out, visiting what happened to Abu Abdullah Hussein, what happened to Abu Fadl Abbas, what happened to Sayyid Qasim, Ali al-Akbar, Ali al-Asghar, going to all the maqamat, listening to the Nasiba, crying, wailing, beating your chest. And at the same time, watching the local community putting up what you call the taqiyya, I think you call it, the 72 lights, lanterns, the different mawakib coming in, whether they're dressed up with the camels and horses, whether they're coming bringing roses, whether they're coming with zinjil, chains on their back and so forth. That, to me, is the Karbala experience. So not just the ziyarah part, not just the Nasiba part, but the azah,
the rituals that are
which are specific to Karbala'i people, by the way. I don't see other people do honor it.
Even people down the road, even people in Najaf don't do the same rituals in Karbala or in Baghdad, which are an hour and a half away.
They love their it's called mashaq.
Mashaq, yeah.
Every night outside Imam Ali, there's a mashaq.
You know, a lot of these rituals actually have like Turkish origins.
Okay.
Yeah, even the word mashaq is the translation for that word is practice.
Yeah.
So it's like a practice for the day of Ashura, or as they used to do outside the tent of Bibi Zainab, when they used to do the hose.
War dance?
The war dance, yeah. So this is a representation of that.
Just to be clear, the mashaq is where they've got the sword and
not hitting. They're just
they wave it in the air.
It's everything just wave it in the air.
Yeah. They do that. So yeah.
Even the lanterns, by the way, you mentioned the taqiyya, that's all from like Turkish influence.
Yeah.
That was used at the time of the Ottoman Empire to light the way for the Zuwar to come to the city. Now it's more of a symbolic thing that's used. Whoever makes the most beautiful taqiyya.
Is that why the hats as well? Of
the hats also,
because it's a Turkish fez, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I
in Syria they have it as well, because it's all part of the Turkish.
The Ottoman Empire was in Iraq until when? 1940s?
In the World War II.
What,
Or World War One. Yeah.
1945, 47. No,
Yeah.
before World War One.
Yeah, the Ottoman
1930s.
Empire fell apart. World War One, no?
Yeah, World War
Yeah.
One, if
I'm
I'm
not sure.
Yeah, so
It
that's
would've
when
been
the lines were
1930s.
drawn in the
Scotland.
sand, and it was
Ah.
split between the. So Lebanon was split between the French and the American.
Oh,
Syria was
wow.
split between the French and the Brits. I think it's a big mess.
So yeah, big Turkish influence.
Yeah.
But yeah, for me, that's the Karbala experience. But
Okay.
you know, going back to Karbala, flipping out about this. You know, when you just mention it and you think about your stories of ziyarah and
Goosebumps.
so forth.
Mentally, you're there, right?
You're
We're
there,
speaking here,
and
but
you're
there.
like, what am I doing here? I need to go. You know what I mean? I need to get on the plane.
You're
bruh.
saying that, man. I really want to book. You know, every year I have this internal struggle. I just want to book and go for Ashura. If not for the duty that we have here.
When's the last time you went to Karbala?
On Ashura or in general?
In general?
In general, last arbaeen.
Oh, that's been a while back.
Yeah, and that's for me.
You do a
I'm
visit.
dying inside right now. I'm dying.
Yourself?
Me as well. Last arbaeen. But I've
Yeah.
booked. I've already booked
For?
for Ashura.
MashaAllah.
inshallah.
These guys have no duty in
Mashallah.
London, yeah, so they can.
Is that an excuse?
Huh?
It's not an
Ooh.
excuse, but it's a valid reason. There's a difference.
So this is actually a discussion I have a lot with my dad, by the way, because he's always had this thing that for Ashura you should stay here and serve the community, etc. And arbaeen is the time that you go towards Imam Hussein. But for us, last year we took 32 of the boys, I think, from Haydari, or South London rather, and this
Ashura.
year for Ashura, yeah. And
See, that's
inshallah,
a problem.
a larger group will go, but you have to realize that there's an intention behind it, because a lot of them haven't been exposed to the Karbala rituals that we're speaking about. So for them
Fair
to
enough.
get the connection, it's like injecting them with the love of Imam Hussein. Then after that, the love is there. You got nothing to worry about.
We have a very racist saying, not racist, but very, we have a saying in Kerbala. We say Ashura is for the Karbalais, arbaeen, the Karbalais serve the Zuwar.
MashaAllah.
So arbaeen, Bismillah.
Whoever wants to come.
Even Ashur, whoever wants to come. But the
Yeah.
idea is everyone needs to serve in their own cities.
Hmm.
So
I
we
think-
serve in Karbala. We're alhamdulillah blessed to be part of that city. But everyone else needs to serve in their own places. And Arba'een, like you said, your father mentioned, is the time for the Khaddam and for the Zuwar to come together.
I agree. When I did Muharram the first time in Karbala, very difficult because there was very, very few majalis in Urdu. It's there. It was hard to get to. Hardly anything in English, right? And I was there. I was with a tour group and stuff like that, and I was learning the ropes and seeing experiencing the Karbala experience of Muharram. Not to say the Karbala experience is restricted to Muharram. It's not.
No, not
It's
at all.
throughout the whole
Yeah.
year. But doing Muharram in
There's a
Karbala,
khususiyya
it
to
was my
yeah.
first time, and I was like, "Why is it that busy? Why this? Why?" And then it clicked what you said. Muharram and Ashura isn't about being in Karbala. It's about spreading the a'lan, the message of what happened to Abu Abdullah Hussein and his companions to wherever you are in the world. So Muharram is about having your 10-night majalis wherever you are serving, like
Yeah.
you said.
Imagine I go to Rasul A'zam now, get all the shabab. Yeah, this year we're going Ashura at Karbala. Take 20, 30 of them. Who's going to run the program? Where's everyone going
Are
to
you
do?
dropping digs at me now?
No, I'm just no. But you guys are
You're a
much
bigger
big
community. You can-
and there's some people
can
that,
handle it.
that will happily like stay here and will happily
Yeah,
serve
yeah.
that purpose.
And
There's some other
alhamdulillah,
people
you're
that
right,
can't
we've
go, you know. With us, most of the shabab are from that city anyway, so it's a lot easier for them to go, you know, and they would go comfortably and they have places to serve there as well.
Yeah.
But what's going to happen in London? Who's going to do the mashaq in London? Who's going to do the qama in London? Who's going to do
The role plays, the
the
speeches.
speeches? Who's going to deal with all of that here?
So just our adjustment to it, by the way, just to defend myself a little bit here, is like I said, it's influencing that love of Imam Hussein within them. And actually our 2-month thing that we have is become like you can say a tradition or a ritual for the youth of Haydari, where we try to go for Muharram, and when we come back, straight away, literally the day we come back, our preparation for the Haydari Arbaeen walk starts. That becomes our opportunity to serve. And honestly, that you're mentioning the serving of Imam Hussein, that is the greatest status you can
100%.
reach when it comes to the Azar of Imam Hussein. So yeah, you're right. We do give away our duty of serving during the time of Muharram, but we created something to make up for that.
Don't get me wrong. I'm not against people going in Ashura. I went 2007, 2000. I've been like 4 or 5 times in Ashura. I learnt a lot and I brought a lot of that back to London. So it's important to go out. but I don't think it should become a sunnah where, you know, every year that's it, I'm going Ashura. Especially if I have duty.
I don't know, man.
Especially if I have duty.
I don't know. Like I've done.
Again, I don't want to say that either because if I'm there every year Ashura,
I don't disagree with you.
catch-22 sort of situation.
I don't disagree with you. I totally understand and appreciate where you're coming from. People have to serve. This is a big honor, and this is very, very important. Some would even say it is wajib for the azar of Abu Abdullah Hussein to happen in your community.
I firmly believe that, yeah.
Whatever you're doing, whether it's putting up black sawad and qut'a or dressing in black or holding a majalis or whatever, it's important. But also at the same time, when it comes to Karbala, Ashura, you are there, you know, answering the call of Abu Abdullah Hussein. And there is no better place, trust me. Anyone who is, you know, anti-azar, especially bloodletting, whether it is, you know, tatbir or something, come to Imam Hussein's shrine on the day of Ashura and tell me if what you see is nothing but beauty. Oh my gosh, there is no place on earth that can come near the grievance, the spirituality of being there.
You're selling it to me. I want to hear your stories.
Thousands.
I want to hear your story. Tell me
What
a
do you wanna
story.
know?
Tell me your, yeah, there's a lot I want to know. Tell me one of your experiences. Tell me, I know we can go on for days, but tell me one thing that has never left your mind that only arbaeen could have showed you. Because I know there's some people that the ziyarah of arbaeen and the ziyarah of Karbala changed them. I need to stop using this hand because it is painful. 180 degrees, it changed their lives.
You know what?
They went from nowhere near religion, nowhere near being a good person, to being one of the best people that I've ever known in my life. And just they're looking upon that shrine, just looking at that shrine changed them.
Yeah, I hear that.
So there must be something.
What about the first time you saw the shrine? Do you remember
The first time I ever went to Karbala was I was 16 years old, 2002 December. Saddam was still in power back then.
That was your first?
My first
2002.
time.
You beat me to it.
First time, yeah. First time I went. And back then it was very different. Back then, Qatlaga was open to the public.
Yes.
You could actually walk on it.
Yes.
The maqam where the blessed head of Abu Abdullah Hussein alayhi salam fell, you could touch and kiss it. You know, at that time. So the dhari was a lot smaller.
There was no marble. It was all...
it was tiles.
The Bain al-Haramain.
Bain al-Haramain was no. That was a market.
It was a market.
It was a market.
2002 was a market.
Yeah, it was a market. It was a market. Bain al-Haramain was a market.
Yeah.
And what else do I remember about the shrine of Imam Hussein? Jama'ah Salah was separate Jama'ah, small groups.
There was like 8 of them.
They would not. Yeah, they would not allow you to have one big one or two. Because
was there any like modern and stuff as well then? Because if they were breaking up the Salah, then
there was, but so tourists were fine. They had no issues with tourists whatsoever. If you were coming from abroad to do ziyarah, it was fine. There was no issues. It was the locals that had issues with. I didn't see this, but my brother did. He saw a lady come to our hamla. She was trying to ask for money or something. The police came with a baton, beat her.
Yeah.
As her mouth was bleeding and everything. I think she broke a tooth.
Yeah. That's nothing, by the way.
It was really bad. And then our hamla got involved. Like, what are you doing? It's a woman. You can't hit a woman. What's wrong with you? Especially with a baton, like. You know, and they were like, "Oh, it's got nothing to do with you. You stay out of it," and stuff like that. It was crazy.
And you're talking about a time that you went that was a very oppressive time to go. To be honest, even like I say, my brother and my dad came back with a lot of stories. Even my mom, they come back with some very difficult stories of those times, and we're so blessed. Like today, we're so blessed. Like we're talking about, we went for arbaeen, and it was like 7 months ago, and we're saying that was so long ago and everything like that. Yeah. If we look in history, some people just haven't had the opportunity to go for ziyarah without some crazy thing happening. There's stories of people saying, yeah, you can go for ziyarah, but we're going to cut your arm. And they're like, okay, bismillah.
What are you talking about? One of the, I think 79 or 80, there was only 6 people that left from Najaf to Karbala. And they were being hunted by Saddam's people.
They went by car, walking?
They were walking. There was no car. They were not the same road that we take now, through the palm trees. Some of them are in London now.
The marshes they call it.
Some not the marshes, through they call it now Tariq al-Ulama. The urban, like through the
undeveloped.
Yeah, the farms and everything. Two of them are in London now.
Wow, they must have stories.
They've done, I think, a couple of interviews on but they tell you the stories and the ma'sat and the masa'ib that you hear, what they had to go through just to visit Imam Hussein. It's out of this world. Like even you're telling me, would you ever go to a country where you see a policeman smash a woman's teeth out in front of your face. You'd never go back there. If that happened to any country, to me, in any country in the world, I'll never go back there.
I'll be like, well, what the hell? Today's her, tomorrow is going to be my mum or my sister.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. But there's something special about Karbala. That the more we see these things, the more we go.
Yeah.
Goes back to I mentioned the explosions that happened in Karbala. This is, inshallah, me next. Inshallah hits me
there was the security guard, didn't it? Remember? This is during arbaeen time. They were on the lookout for, because a lot of people, this and that. Someone came with explosives. The security guard, the taftish and whatever, he saw, he grabbed him and he hugged him.
Allah
took
Akbar.
the explosion.
Yeah. This happened a few times, and there was one that actually went viral a few years back. He hugged him and just took him to the side.
And only he died. Only him and the guy,
so many lives.
The terrorist and himself were the only ones that got hurt. You know what I mean?
Oh, that's what this city does, man. This city
it's a beautiful place.
Like, it's when you think about it, for example, if someone passes away in your family, for example, and you ask yourself, do I want to go back to that time of grief? You don't. Like, it was a very difficult time. And when you come to the majalis of Imam Hussein, you can't miss it. Like, it's a grieving, and people think, well, why do you want to go back to it? You're like, we can't live with it. Imagine during COVID, how difficult we all found it. And we, alhamdulillah, we managed to have majlis at the back of our house. We had to have this big tent and everything like that with the markers on the floor and stuff. And likewise, when you're talking about ziyarah,
COVID was a good example.
If you went to holiday, like let's just say you went to holiday to Tunisia, and there was that attack that happened so many years ago. You're like, yeah, I'm not going back there. No way. Karbala attack happens. All right, cool. I'm coming back.
Next day.
I'm coming back.
Yeah.
Same day I'm running
But
there.
do you think because of Karbala, its history, what it's known for, that and in terms of, like you were saying, there was times we had to give a limb to go visit and do the ziyarah of Imam Hussein. We know that soil is very, very sacred. We also know blood was spilt on that soil, and blood will again spill on that soil. Do you think that's why we're not fazed by it?
It's good you mentioned that, because it's not just a vibe. I think we're making it seem like it's a vibe. It's more than that. It's part of our doctrine. It's part of our aqeed. It's part of our belief system. The Ahlulbayt walked to Karbala, walked to Imam Hussein. Sayyidah Zainab, Salamullah alayha, she took the hardest route towards Karbala. She took the route towards Karbala with some of the kids missing, with her brothers missing, with the men in her caravan missing. For us, there's Zawar, there's Mawakib, there's...
You know what? You just hit a really, really valid point. This is deep to it now. We go for ziyarah for thawab. We go for ziyarah for our problems.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Sayyidah Zainab, salam alayha, went...
She wanted to see her brother.
She wanted just to see her brother. That was it.
Alayha. Yeah, man. Look at the difference. But look what that stance that she took, look at the steps that she took, what it led to. It led to the millions walking towards Karbala. And this is just arbaeen we're talking about, by the way.
Yeah.
You should go look at Karbala during Sha'baniyah. Ziyarah Sha'baniyah.
Big?
Mid Sha'ban.
Bro, I actually went once, for 15th Sha'ban.
Second arbaeen.
I think, I went for 2nd of Sha'ban. I can't remember which part it was, but me and my brother were thinking, it'll be easy to get a hotel, like it'll be chill. Oh my God, it was ramped, like it was packed out.
Yeah. Instead of everyone wearing black, everyone's wearing white.
Yeah, I was baffled though. It's a bit confusing.
Right.
You've not seen Kerbala in white before, but it was
plenty of times.
Plenty of times.
Apart from Ashra Day, but it was just shocking, to be honest. And you're speaking obviously about how Sayyidah Zainab took this stand, and how it shows us that listen, a good leader shows by example, not by telling people. And Sayyidah Zainab was that leader.
She could have said, "Move to Karbala."
Right,
exactly. And she went to Karbala. Even if you look at, for example, the companions like Jabir, or you look at other people that went for the ziyarah of Imam Hussein, despite the oppression, they led by example, not just by saying go for ziyarah. And then on top of that, obviously, there's hadith after hadith after hadith about going to visit Karbala. For example, I'm sure you can give a lot of examples yourselves, but in Kamala Ziyarat, I can't remember which Imam, but he says that he who goes to do the ziyarah of Imam Hussein knowing his right, it's equivalent.
Allahu Akbar.
It's equivalent to 1,000 Hajj.
Let me top that up. There's another narration that says it is equivalent, if knowing the right of the Imam, the ziyarah is equivalent to visiting Allah on his arsh.
MashaAllah.
Subhanallah.
MashaAllah.
And then people are wondering,
that's Karbala.
Oh, but there was a bomb blast there. Why do you want to go back? Bro, come on.
There's a book in regards to the secrets of the ziyarah of Karbala. You guys can get it by His Eminence, the Grand Ayatollah Sayyid Sadiq Shirazi. But in there's a hadith Qudsi, which is absolutely mind-blowing. It talks about how Mecca, the land of Mecca, speaks in pride that what other land is there greater than I? For I have the Kaaba on me. And people come and circumambulate and so forth. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells that the land of Mecca to hush, for I have favored the land of Karbala over you. That on, you know, the final days of this world, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will destroy everything, all of creation. But the land of Kerbala, He will preserve and raise it to the heavens. And they say in the heavens, the land of Kerbala is where the prophets will reside. They own the premises and residency in that.
That's
land.
why I can't say we're Karbala, but we can't claim. And I refuse to let anyone claim that land. You can't. It belongs to the Ahlulbayt.
Was this about Abdullah Hussein alayhi salam
You're trying to cause me problems.
purchasing the land?
Yeah.
4 kilometers from what is now his qabr, his grave.
Yeah, they refer
4 kilometers
to
in each direction.
al-Husayni.
Yeah. It's 4 kilometers in each direction, isn't it? He purchased that himself. So does that land still belong to him? And there's another thing about, so there's the grave of, is it Ibrahim
al-Mujab?
Al-Mujab, yeah. So Hazrat Ibrahim al-Mujab, apparently he sold off the land and so forth. So that's how other people started to come and make houses and this and that. Do you know anything about this history?
I don't know about this selling afterwards, but regardless, there's some stuff that are worldly that we talk about, and there's some stuff that are ruhani that we talk about. Regardless of who buys what and who has what deeds, not just Karbala belongs to Imam Hussein. This whole planet belongs to Imam Hussein.
Ahsant.
Yeah, this is not
Ali
that's
the
He's
one.
gonna get clipped in enough on one of them Salafi pages, isn't it?
Put it on, man. Put it on. You can learn something.
One of the signs of a mu'min is to visit Karbala and the ziyarah of arbaeen.
Yes, indeed.
If you want to clip that, they can clip that as well.
Yeah, inshallah.
That's it. We gotta be open and honest about our beliefs, and that's what we believe. Karbala, the worth, the turab, the earth of Karbala is shifa. It's the medicine to anything. Anyone I've seen it work miracles. It's not just stories at this point. I've seen it work miracles. People on their deathbed, the turba of Karbala gives them shifa. That's Karbala.
Yeah.
You know, that's not my land. That's land that belongs to something godly. Not me, not Hajj Flan, not Sayyid Flan.
Yeah.
Belongs to up above.
I was going to say, speaking on miracles.
Here we go.
Everyone's got some miracle that they've seen. And I'm just going to mention one, because this is one that is like 100,000% authentic, because obviously you've heard some of the stories and stuff like that. And sometimes because of how miraculous it is, you kind of doubt the authenticity a little bit. And a few years ago, a cousin of mine got married to a boy from the UK. And I know him from our football tournaments and stuff like that. And I bumped into him in Canada when he was marrying my cousin. A couple of years later, a glass fell on his hand, wasn't able to use his hand. It became partially paralyzed from what I hear.
Damaged the nerves.
Yeah, damaged the nerves in his hand. And the video I saw was him walking in Karbala, sitting next to a guy. And some random Arab has just walked up to him and said, I saw you in a dream. And I've been told to recite this dua. So they sat down, recited the dua. And that's it, his hand just starts working again.
Really?
And it's just so miraculous. But if you were to tell like the people of Karbala that have seen all of this, if I was to go to some random lady in Karbala and tell her the story, she'll be like, yeah, that's what happens. What's so special?
Go to one of the Khaddam in the shrine. He'll tell you stories for days. He's standing, the guys with the brushes, and stop doing his hand again.
Your father-in-law.
My father-in-law being one of them. He's
shout
actually
out to
Haji Hashim. Quick shout out. He's a khadim in the shrine of Abu al-Fadl al-Abbas alayhi salam, and he's the one who stewards the zuwar. He welcomes a lot of the guests into the shrine, and he can tell you stories for days, miracles for days. Same with the servants of Imam Hussein shrine. They will tell you of things that if you don't have aqidah and you see it with your own eyes, you'll probably go crazy.
Wow.
Like miracles like that.
Wow.
It's the stuff that's like, just as simple as the trab that's in the grave of Imam Hussein turning red on the day of Ashura is enough of a miracle.
What's the closest you've got to or seen of the grave of Imam Hussein?
To the actual grave?
Yeah.
Just the
outside.
Just the
dhari.
Yeah, the mausoleum.
Yourself?
Yeah, same here. Just
I don't know how legit they are, but apparently they were doing some works on the foundations,
Mm-hmm.
and they had a video downstairs, and the guy had it was like a curtain or plastic polythene, and he goes, behind that is the actual grave of Imam Hussein.
Yeah.
And they were just touching the thing, and they weren't going, and they weren't gonna show it or anything like that, out of respect and so forth. You know, we don't know what the grave looks like. It might be damaged or this or that. It might be an injustice to Abu Abdullah Hussein alayhi salam. But you know, there was stories of when they were doing works to the actual dhari and the grave, they had to obviously dig down and so forth. They say when they used to recite Masa'ib of Abu Abdullah Hussein, people were dying because they were so close to the grave. They could see the grave, like almost. They had to stop doing Masa'ibs, like it was getting too much, you know, and so forth. And I don't know what it is about Kerbala, as much as, you know, I love the Karbala people and I love the city.
At your service.
There's that sorrow and grief in the air. You can't escape it.
At all.
As much as you're going to have a laugh and joke with the boys, and I'm not against that. I know Karbala is, and you're on ziyarah, and it is meant to be very, very, you know, grieving and sorrowful and so forth. But your lads, you do go out, you need to like socialize a little bit and so forth and whatever. There is something in the air that keeps drawing you back to Ashura, to Abu Abdullah Hussein alayhi salam and so forth. And this is, I think, one of the biggest miracles of Karbala itself, and the fact that year after year, Sukhni, how many people are coming into Karbala every year?
So again, all the numbers are disputed, but every year we move on. No, it's actually a lot more than that. Every year we move on, they actually have more technology to count the people. There's more methods of counting the people.
So
I think they reached 24 million last year.
That's arbaeen or the whole year?
That's arbaeen. That's just that week. It's arbaeen. They calculate arbaeen as a week, not as one day.
Okay.
Stop using this hand. That's like the fourth time, and it hurts. So they calculate arbaeen as a week. So from I think literally the day after to like 6 days before, and 24 million. And even that's not accurate because
what's the population of the UK? Does anyone know?
60, 65.
London is what, 6-7 million?
I'm telling you, 60-70% of the population of Bahrain is empty during the time of arbaeen. Empty.
Bahrain's population is what, 6 million or something like that. It's small.
What, 6 million? It was 1 million up until 2014.
Really?
And the population.
I know they brought a lot of immigrants here.
Yeah, so the population of the Shia was around 90% at the time.
Yeah.
And they brought a lot of immigrants to obviously
dilute.
Yeah. So I think it's gone up to couple of million. I'm not too sure of the figures. Yeah. But more than half of the population of that country, or maybe not more than half, but a massive chunk of the population of that country is just nowhere to be seen on arbaeen.
From
all
my
in
experience
Karbala.
of arbaeen, I feel like if I went to Iran for arbaeen, everything would be shut. Because there's Iranians everywhere in Karbala.
You'd be surprised,
There's plenty of them.
Let me tell you a story.
There's plenty of Iranians though.
But when they're all in Karbala, how are they
to
still
go around
running around?
2 years ago, I made the mistake, or not the mistake, it was the biggest blessing, to visit Imam Rida alayhi salam before arbaeen.
Okay.
Timing was a mistake. There was not a single mode of transport in the city of Mashhad during, I think, up until a week before arbaeen. Nothing. I was this close, for me and my wife, to getting in those, you know, them really old rusty buses that have like a door that's going like just like not closing properly. Yeah, jumping on that bus from Mashhad to Tehran. Do you know how many hours that is? That's like 20 hours. And the driver jumps on the bus. He goes, "No one tell me to stop. No one tell me to hurry up. I haven't slept in like 3 days." I'm like, no way I'm getting on this bus. We got off the bus, and it was a blessing to continue like our ziyarah and spend some time with the Imam. But it was the most difficult experience ever.
Damn.
It was busy, really busy. The population of Iran, just Tehran, is like 18 million or something.
Yeah,
just
the whole country is 90 million, I think.
Yeah,
it's got the highest Shia population in the world.
Yeah, so there's a lot of,
Like
as much as
people.
there are in Kerbala, a lot of them are either too poor to come or have like they just can't come. There's a lot of Iranians left in Iran, so it is busy. If you were to go, don't go like,
just before arbaeen.
Don't go because there's no planes, there's no nothing. It was such a struggle to get some tickets.
And that explains why when you bump into these people on the walk, they say, "Yeah, we come by foot or we've come by bicycle."
Come by across the border by foot.
Yeah, mental.
Yeah, I've seen it. The COVID time, that was very difficult for people to get through.
Time?
I was there.
Yeah.
Only these men.
I was there. I was
there. That was a beautiful time.
The best ziyarah ever.
It was a beautiful time, but at the same time, I felt Imam Hussein deserves better.
Yeah, there was a wahsha, a wilderness feeling.
It was the Mashaya was empty.
Mashaya was empty.
Mashaya from Najaf to that Khan and
You were there for arbaeen.
I landed the day before arbaeen.
Ashura.
No, I wasn't there for Ashura.
I was there for Ashura, bro.
What was that
The
like?
only person, Mir Hassan Mir, with like a group of 10 people. Other than that, not a single
Wow.
Pakistani.
But there wasn't a lot of people there, was there?
Every person that was going past, I'd know them because they're all from the city.
They're Karbala. It was just Karbala.
Just Kerbalais.
That's it. No.
So it had a niceness to it, but at the same time, it felt gharib. Like, you know, like, where's the Zuwar? Ashur, where's the Zuwar? So that year was a bit difficult.
Yeah,
But it gave it a khususiyah. It's like you mentioned earlier with the majalis here. I wouldn't say like it felt like Saddam's time, but it felt like, you know, when you can't visit, and this is how it feels like, you know, it's limited.
for
Yeah.
that.
You're yearning for it. Yeah, it was just a crazy.
Boys,
experience.
question.
Tell me.
Does Imam Hussein alayhi salam invite you
Salam
to the Karbala experience? Or are you always invited? It's up to you to get up and answer the call.
Do you want to take that?
I'll let you go first.
I don't think it's up to you at all. I
Really?
think it's up to you to take that step,
Mm.
but the invitation comes from Imam Hussein.
Yeah?
Even if you're not planning to go, if Imam Hussein wants you there, you're there.
Yeah.
Even if you're not planning to go. Again,
Opinion or
we've got stories for
experience?
days. Experience? There's, I can name like 4 or 5 experiences.
One that pops to your mind right now.
The most recent one, everyone had booked. You know that feeling when everyone books and you're just sitting there like, everyone's going, like, I hate life right now. Everyone's going, what am I going to do? So I've done a small majlis in my house. And even the Radud, the mullah, he's reading qasida for the yearning of ziyarah, you know, all of that. And we're all just upset, you know.
You're just rubbing it in, innit?
Yeah, I'm all crying, and it makes it more emotional
Of
because
course.
everyone's there, we're not there. I kid you not. And that year I couldn't go. I had work issues, I had family issues, I had a lot of commitments. There was no way I could go at all. The next day, I got a ticket to go Ziyarah Karbala. The next day of that majlis.
Wow.
The next day. And I genuinely believe this. It happened to me, the same thing with Sayyidah Ruqayya Salamullah alayha.
Salam alayha.
Sayyidah Ruqayya, I haven't been to Sham since I was probably like 2, 3. So probably never.
Mhm.
But the one time we done a majlis at Al-Hassan, Imam Baragh Al-Hassan, we done one majlis for Sayyidah Ruqayya.
MashaAllah.
That same year, 2018, I was going to ziyarah for.
MashaAllah.
So you have to take a step, but even if you're in a situation where you can't go and you have closed all the doors in your own face, if Aba Abdullah wants you there, if the Ahlulbayt want you there, you'll be there. I have full yaqeen in that.
And you know, speaking of these stories, like I haven't really thought about, is it that Imam Hussein invites you? And I'm trying to think back to the Quran. I'm trying to think back to, it almost comes to like the free will versus predestination sort of discussion. And it feels like if you take one step towards Imam Hussein, the rest he will take towards you. And I've got a friend, for example, who was, I don't want to expose him obviously, but he was very in the wrong path.
Name and shame.
And
No,
definitely not.
name and shame.
He'll be at my doorstep tomorrow morning.
Joe Blogs.
But yeah, Joe Blogs, yeah.
John Smith, yeah.
And there was just something within him about the love of Imam Hussein that he thought, you know, this might get me out of this rut that I've been in for 15 years or 20 years. And he went to the ziyarah of Imam Hussein, and the first thing he did, even though he's been going to the majlis but hasn't been able to feel that connection, when he went to the shrine, he absolutely completely broke down. It was like,
Wow.
do you know when someone hasn't seen their parents for a long time and they
Yeah.
finally see their mom after years? He said it felt like that. And everything within, literally, he says, my DNA changed. My DNA changed. And I feel that it's just that one little step that he took towards Imam Hussein that just changed everything. And that's how he got invited. But I feel that initiative needs to come from within the person. And listen to anyone listening to the show, to anyone, this podcast, or anyone watching it. If you're just sitting there contemplating it, debating it, just go book your flight. It's you can, if you have to take out a loan, if you have to ask someone for help, go towards Imam Hussein. I promise you. Even my dad, by the way, my dad will say that
Investing in your life. Yeah.
and sorry, my dad will say that it was when he went for the ziyarah of Imam Hussein that he started seeing fruits in his life. He started seeing the fruition of his work, etc. And it was because that once you're guided, once you've joined this, I don't know how to explain it, once you've decided, yeah, this is my direction, and that direction is Sirat al-Mustaqim, right? There is no doubt that the lineage of the Holy Prophet, Imam Ali, Imam Hussein, etc. are Sirat al-Mustaqim. So when you've found Sirat al-Mustaqim, your haqq is in the right place. God will give you those benefits. God will give you everything. So to answer your question, you got to take that step first, but then the invitation comes.
I personally believe that Abu Abdullah Hussein alayhi salam is one of the most kindest, most generous. I don't think he turns anybody away, personally.
I don't think so.
And I don't think he's the type of person that will be like, this person can come, that person can't, and so forth. I think everyone is invited. It's just if you answer the call or not.
Yeah, but they know us better than we know ourselves.
100%.
So they might say it's now's not the right time for us.
100%. It
Might
may
be
not
that
be in your
situations,
qismah.
yeah.
It
Might
may
be,
not be in your
exactly.
qismah now, but maybe later. But personally, I think anybody who has the sincere niyyah to go,
Yeah, they'll never
100% they will get there. And if not, then wherever they are, they can perform ziyarah. Inshallah, it'll be
Exactly.
accepted and they'll get the same
Inshallah.
ajr and thawab. Which leads me on to my next question. Why do we keep going back?
It's an addiction.
Everything
It's
we said,
actually
not
an
enough.
addiction.
It's actually an addiction.
You need more reasons.
I itch for it. I'm like, Karbala, I need to go. I need to go.
But honestly,
But do you
think
itch,
about it.
do you itch for Najaf? Do you itch for
I do.
Samarra?
I'll be honest, I do. Not the same as Karbala
Not
though.
the same.
But you know why?
Not the same.
It's because when you go to Karbala, that's it. I know you're trying to say it's not my home, but it really is.
No.
It's
Okay.
my home of Majlis.
So let me clarify. Yeah. No, but it's the home of all the lovers of Imam Hussein.
Ahsan.
بلا شك.
Beshak, sorry.
I came from a Karbala angle. I'm coming from a Shia angle. Yeah.
We've got the level-headed hat on.
When you mention about Najaf and Samarra, I don't yearn for
And
the
Baghdad.
and Baghdad.
Yeah.
Salam Allah Ali Imam Jawad al-Kadhim. I don't yearn for the cities. I yearn for the
Shrines.
personalities of that city. I yearn for the shrine of Imam Ali. The other day I listened to Anaha, and it just made me shed tears for the shrine of Imam Ali. I want to visit my Imam. The city not so much, because I don't have any sort of roots there, as nice as the city is. But it's different when you, like, I wouldn't spend more than a night in Najaf. Maybe 2 nights, pushing it. Karbala, I lived there for 2 years.
Oh, yeah. You did.
I'd live there for the rest of my life. Like, and I would not feel like electricity, water, no water. I don't care.
Mhm.
That's why Karbala has this khususiyah for me. Like, I don't know, and I feel like it's the same for the. I've seen these guys sleep in the roughest conditions in Karbala, and even in like Najaf and stuff. The roughest conditions, like
But
anywhere in the world,
it's
they'll
honor,
never do
innit?
it.
It's just that honor that
It's the
even
honor
if I
of
have to
being
be a beggar to be on your doorstep,
Yeah, exactly,
I
yeah.
will be that beggar. I will be whatever it takes to be on the doorstep of Imam Hussein. And yeah, I'll be honest, for me, there is that yearning for Najaf, there is that yearning for Samara, but and obviously Kadhim, and even Imam Al-Rudha, I went for the first
Salam
time
alaikum.
a year and a half
Salam
ago,
alaikum.
and I felt like he welcomed me. Like I felt so connected. But when it comes to Imam Hussein, I feel that, every bit of grief in my heart, like it just pents itself up and it builds and it builds and it waits to go to Karbala so it can just go home. Like, I don't know how to explain, I don't know how to put it in words, but when I'm sitting in the majlis of Imam Hussein, and like even now, by the way, in England, sometimes we might sit in the majlis and your WhatsApp pops up and you're like, oh, I need to do this for work, and you quickly reply to a message, or you're checking the scores, or whatever it is. And I know maybe when it comes to the masayib of the majlis, you don't.
Yeah.
But during the majlis, you're not fully concentrated. But when you're in Karbala, 24/7 majlis, nothing matters.
Who's going to sit in the shrine with their phone?
I hope my uncle's not watching this,
Yeah.
but I forgot to order this building material, or I forgot to tell this maintenance guy to do this or whatever.
I'm gonna snitch.
But when you're in Karbala, it just feels so irrelevant. Like, I remember when I first went, not 2013, sorry, 2016, I was doing some 2015, I was doing some exams, and I was so stressed out. I'll be honest, I was so stressed out about these exams, but I still went to Karbala, and my exam was the day after I returned. I actually had to leave the night of arbaeen to make it back for my exam in time, and I slept like 4 hours and went to my exam. Alhamdulillah, I passed.
Alhamdulillah.
Otherwise, God knows what would
You
happen.
passed because you went to arbaeen.
But
There's only one exam.
I'll be so honest. I was stressed out about it. And then to add to my stress was, I know you're stressed about your exam, but do you want to go Karbala? And you're like, how can I say no? How can I say
but
no
you
to
made
Karbala?
the right choice.
clarity.
And
Karbala gives you clarity of
I
the
went-
mind, of the soul. of
Exactly, but it made me realize, okay, I did my revision and everything out there, but it made me realize that stop thinking about a million things. You've got Imam Hussein. That's the
everything.
main thing.
Salam alaikum.
Imam Hussein, and obviously that is our direction to Allah and your religion and everything. But because of just that, I don't know how to explain. There's no word. I don't think there's any words in English to explain it. I don't speak enough languages to have a word to explain it. But
Have a crack, any language.
I don't know enough languages. Punjabi would be a great way to explain this feeling. But when I was there, my revision just for this exam that I was doing just went a lot easier. And it didn't matter. I wasn't stressed about the exam. I was just doing an hour because I felt like I had to do an hour a day of revision. But everything was majlis. And then when I came back, everything that I was worrying about my car, my house, well, not my house, but my laundry, I'll say, and all of these little things in life just didn't matter. And it made me prioritize that thing that is important. And that is our love for Imam Hussein.
I'm telling you, this is what he's saying now. Yeah, it just brings.
I'm not gonna lie, boys. Let's book it now.
Bro, I'm telling you, I'm gonna book it right now.
I'm booked for my
Allah, I was about to make a very, very bad decision 2 years ago.
Oh,
yeah, I was about to invest in something which would have been very bad for me.
Okay.
2 years ago.
Did the istikhara?
Karbala.
Karbala was your istikhara.
Karbala was my istikhara. Me and my wife, we went to Karbala.
Okay.
You know, ziyaras, 2 separate women entrance.
Yeah.
We both left. At that moment, we both left. We both completely changed our minds about that investment.
Oh.
The same minute.
Wow.
That ziyara, clarify. It's not like we had, like, I didn't sort of try brainwash her and like sell it to her. We should do this. We shouldn't do this sort of thing. But that ziyara, as soon as we stepped out, we looked at each other, we were like, you know what? I don't know why we're doing that. That's not the right thing for us to do. And alhamdulillah, we didn't go ahead with it. That's what Karbala does. Karbala is clarity of the mind, the soul. It just literally makes everything straight.
And it's that uniting of the people that you belong with. How many times do I see you in London?
I've seen him.
I see you once
I've seen him in Karbala more than I've seen
100%.
Yeah, it's weird. You know, in Karbala, right? And I don't want to. It sounds bad, but this is sometimes what it feels like. It's like a lad's trip, and the amount of times you bump into locals that from London or from Manchester or Birmingham when you're in Karbala and ziyara. You know, your brothers from
purifies
home.
Your hearts, man.
And it's like, oh, yeah, you see, and you get really happy to see them as well.
It purifies your heart. You see the clean version of everyone.
Yeah.
When I see you, I might like your version of Kerbala, but I might not want to speak to you in London.
There you go.
Yeah, there you go.
The truth's coming out.
He's just forced to be on this podcast and
get me out of this. I need a new job. No, I'm joking.
But honestly, there's people that I've seen and known in London, but in Kerbala, we've become so close. And I think that's one of the benefits of the ziyarah. We come back, we surf together.
That's another thing. You know, your ziyarah buddy. You'll never ever forget your ziyarah buddy.
Never.
And you may not speak for 3, 4, 5 years, but when you see them, it's like you saw them yesterday.
Yeah, exactly.
Your ziyarah buddy is someone special, honestly.
Exactly.
And for me, Kerbala, I don't know what it is. I can go to Najaf. I can spend a day or two in Najaf. I can go to Samarra. I can go to Baghdad. But in Kerbala, I feel at home. And I mean, alhamdulillah, with the grace of the channel, I've been almost every year. For almost a decade. I've gone outside of the peak seasons for filming and so forth. I've lived in Karbala, I think, for about 10 to 14 days, living and working as a citizen. Work starts at 9 o'clock, finish at 5, come home, go do this.
Salam Haji, all of that.
All of that. I loved it. Yeah. I loved every minute of it, and I really enjoyed Karbala. And even when I go, and I'm in Najaf or I'm in Samarra, I'm just thinking to myself, when am I getting to Karbala?
Yeah.
I need to get to Karbala. Karbala, I feel at home. I know the streets. I know the people. I've got connections. I feel safe. I feel I belong.
Yes.
I feel I belong here. You know what I mean? And most importantly, when can I go see Imam Hussein to do my ziyarah? You never know. It may be my final ziyarah.
And COVID was like a reminder of that, right?
Yeah.
COVID was just like, you took this for granted so much.
That's my fear every time. Every time I finish my ziyarah, my flight is in a few hours. That's my biggest fear. Don't let this be my last ziyarah.
And I just pray like, honestly, I pray that it never gets to the stage where in a few years from now, we're saying to our kids, you know how lucky we were. I really hope that times don't change, because this does feel like a high time for the Shia. But I just really hope that doesn't change, because these experiences we're talking about, imagine our sons or our daughters didn't get to experience that same connection to Imam Hussein.
Yeah, inshallah, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give the tawfiq to all our viewers, inshallah, to go to the ziyarah of Abu Abdullah Hussein, Abu Abdullah Hussein. Give the invitation to all our brothers and sisters, inshallah, to perform his ziyarah. Final words, please, Mr. Hussein Sukhni.
I'm going to go back to what you both said, actually. If you can't go, take out a loan to go. If it's not meant to be, it's not meant to be. Maybe it's not your time, but you have to try your best to make that journey. It's a life-changing journey. This is specifically arbaeen, a life-changing journey. And I've seen it happen to plenty of people. It's happened to me.
MashaAllah.
Try go to your ziyarat al-arbaeen. If you can't, go throughout the year.
Excellent.
And honestly, the same thing. And to add to that, if you're obstacle of going isn't finance and it is something else, go there, it will sort it, honestly.
Yeah.
Inshallah. Final word for me is that for those of you who have never experienced Karbala, you must go. And if you do go, then please remember why you are there. You are not there only for visiting, say, the Shuhada, but you are there to revive what happened on that day.
Yeah.
And you are there to pay your respects, to give your salam, and to give your sorrows and grief. And most importantly, your azar, inshallah, be accepted. By Fatima Zahra, salam alaiha, inshallah. This has been the Shia Vibes podcast. Big thank you to our producer and director, Muhammad Fahad. Also, everyone behind the screens, the big team. We have Salman Bhai, Muhammad Rida, and also Amir Raza. And we have volunteers as well, Ammar and also Amir Ma'ash. Inshallah, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give them the tawfiq as well to continue serving in the name of Abu Abdullah Hussein, and keep watching Imam Hussein TV 3.